Hey, this is Phil from Zade Comics, and we are back with another arcade video, and this week we're talking full comic books. The king of Image Comics of the 90s, the character that started an empire that still stands to this day.
Spawn, Violator.
I hear the competition's flying around. They could be any place.
They're cool, awesome.
Tremor, Overkill, Medieval Spawn, the
And
Clown.
they come with comics.
Nice toys, kids.
Nice try, guys.
Spawn from Todd Toys. We're out to plaster the competition.
I'm not too keen on that tagline, but Spawn was huge and still is huge. It launched Image Comics. It had a movie, an animated series, now an arcade game. McFarlane Toys blew up, all because of this character and Todd breaking away from mainstream comics at Marvel to do his own creator-owned character that he had all the rights to. Spawn was setting records in sales in the comic store in the 90s. So after the film came out in 1999, the arcade game released in Japan. This was put out by Capcom, and then a year later we got it over here. It was also ported over to the Dreamcast, seemingly getting mixed reviews, but a lot of people say this is the best Spawn game, which I don't think we have a lot to choose from right now. The cool thing about this is it has a huge cast of characters you could play from. Cast that if you're a fan of the comics, you're gonna know these characters. Sam, Twitch, Clown, Cagliostro, you got the Redeemer, you have kind of a hidden Violator, which we'll get into in a second. Of course, Spawn, Tremor, and a bunch of other characters. In this game, there's 3 modes, which is very interesting. There's Boss Rush mode, which is the main mode where you go through different stages, battling kind of henchmen characters, and then a boss battle. There's a team battle mode, which I think you're able to link this game with another game. Now, at the Galvin Ghost, we only have one, but if we had multiple boards, we would be able to link them up, kind of like how you do with the Grid, which we've showed in a previous video. And then there's a Battle Royale mode. Now, I was doing some research, and there's 11 main playable characters in the arcade version, but it says, I read that the game features 37 playable characters, which includes a hell of a lot of hidden characters. Well, that blows my mind. I'm imagining you could probably unlock the bosses that you could play as in here as well. The really interesting thing about this is the gameplay. It is a third-person shooter, but it has a static camera. So when you're running around, your character moves, the camera doesn't, but you could push an aim button to recenter the camera behind your character. And then when you hold that aim button down, it actually goes into a first-person mode where you could aim up, down, and all these angles. Then you let go to continue to run. You have your aim button, your fire button, your switch weapon, and your jump button, because each character has different weapons. They can go just their hand-to-hand combat. Some people have machine guns, pistols, magic, as we'll see with other characters, swords, stuff like that. And the main gameplay, like I said, you just go through levels, defeating bosses, and they keep getting harder and harder. Some of these levels are super hard. I couldn't get past level 3 because with the minions and the big boss, it's super hard for me. Now, maybe I wasn't paying close attention, but something that I didn't know is some of the characters use the start button as another ability for their character. Like Spawn, I went back and checked it out. When you hit start, his cape comes on him. And I was trying to figure out what specifically this does. It stays up for a specific amount of time and then goes away, and then you can hit start again. His cape will pop up again. It seems to me that this just allows him to jump higher. It's kind of like a super jump. He doesn't have any gliding or anything. The cape looks cool, but I kind of wish there was something else that you could do with it. If there is, and you guys know, leave a comment down below and let me know. Then, of course, we have the psychopathic demon clown, as portrayed by John Leguizamo in the Spawn film.
Spawn is funny, he's our man. If you can't kill him, no one can. Yay, Spawn! S to the P to the A to the war. S to the P to the A to the R. Go Spawn, go Spawn.
He has a hammer that stuns enemies and this big old chainsaw that literally cuts people in half. The gore in this game is pretty good. You can get decimated and your torso blown off. You could do that to enemies as well. But his special ability by pushing start, which is the thing that tipped me off when playing him, is he turns into Violator. Super cool, becomes, huge Violator. He gets a whole new slew of attacks, different abilities, using his claws. But every time I was playing as Violator, I was just dying instantly. I didn't know what was going on. After a few tries of living as Violator, I noticed that his health bar drains when he's in the Violator form. So you could switch back from Clown to Violator just by pushing start. Really interesting. I checked out some other characters that didn't have a start button abilities like Sam, Twitch. I don't think Tiffany had anything. I don't think that Cagliostro or the Redeemer did either. You're also just not limited to the abilities or weapons you have in your hands. Enemies drop weapons. You could burst open barrels that have weapons in there, like flamethrowers, machine guns, pistols, stuff like that. Now, I switched through a couple different characters just to see the differences in their abilities. And the Redeemer is actually really cool. He has a blade for an arm, and he could shapeshift that arm into different swords. And in fact, one of them is a gun that he turns it into. If you do attack plus jump, then something special happens with every character. So with the Redeemer, depending on which arm you have selected, he either turns you into stone with a strike, he'll encase you in a block of ice, or he shoots an exploding round with his arm gun. And the last one, I believe, is a dash attack. It's like a swirling dash. So it kind of has different elements of fighting games with different inputs doing different special abilities, but with that third person run and gun aspect. Another thing you'll notice is these little gems around the map that you can actually pick up. They'll heal you, give you more defense, give you better damage on your weapons, speed for running, and those are just dropped by enemies, or you can find them in different boxes that you blow up. All in all, this game is a really cool concept, and to explore all these different characters and their abilities, that is a whole day. You guys could come to the arcade and play everyone, all 11 of these characters, maybe unlock some other ones if you're good at this game. But man, this game is hard. I mean, this is too hard for me. I'm gonna have to spend a whole day trying to get past level 3. I'm sure you guys could look up more gameplay of this on YouTube. I think I saw some full playthroughs of the game on here. It would be so cool to get another board and cabinet and see how that 2-player goes in the arcade with the team up of some of these characters. But guys, we're not just here for the arcades, we're here for the comics. I was stopped in the arcade today by a customer who said he's a fan of the channel, watches the arcade videos, but he's new to comics. So shout outs Phil, thank you for being a new subscriber. If you don't know who Spawn is, here's Todd McFarlane to tell you himself.
What would you do if at the moment of death, a voice from the darkness offered you the chance to live again?
Have you ever walked out of a mall into a huge parking area and realized you'd forgotten where you parked your car?
Have your answer? There's no time to think about it. Your heartbeat away from flatlining.
Do you have a pet? Do you have a sweet tooth? Do you believe in the power of a curse?
Have you had your hearing tested lately?
Planning a trip soon? Can you remember the tallest man you've ever seen?
Quick, what's the answer? I'm Todd McFarlane, and I created Spawn.
Well, that didn't really help at all, Todd. But Spawn 1992. Imagine this, some of the biggest creators in comics leave Marvel to start their own company, Image Comics, to create their own books so they could retain all the rights. And here comes Toddy Mac, 1992, May, with Spawn #1, selling a whopping 1.7 million copies, setting this crew Image Comics and Todd McFarlane at the top of the Tower of Comics. Based on a character that Todd designed as a teenager, he then developed it into the most readable Image comic to come out of that 90s group. There's a reason that this character is still around at Image, and there's been a movie, there's been an animated series, obviously a video game created from it. And I think the story still has legs. Because when you cut through all the awesome 90s art and action, it's a story that rings true. It's a story about a man and the love of his life and his family. The story of Al Simmons, a military man turned CIA operative and then becoming a government assassin. When on a mission, he gets double-crossed by his own teammates because Al is too much of a good guy. After he dies, he is sent to hell and makes a deal with the devil to see his wife Wanda one last time. After the pact is made, he is now a hell spawn, left with extraordinary powers and limited memory. And that, my friends, is just the tip of this hellspawn iceberg. This book has spawned, no pun intended, many spin-off comics, tons of different characters. It is a universe within itself and is still running to this day with a historic event when Spawn 301 came out and broke, I believe, the record for most issues in a single character series. But if you love Spawn, come on out to the Galapagos Arcade, play the arcade game, go pick up the comic. And if you love characters like Spawn, you need to grab the Lost Pages 2. It's crowdfunding right now. You could order it. We're at the printers. It will be shipping out next month in March. And it's all about the Silhouette, who is a supernatural vigilante. He dives through alleyways. He could walk through walls. He's blowing away bad guys. And he, like Spawn, also has memory problems, so we'll get a glimpse into his past, and I know you guys are going to love it. So check out our comics. It's the reason we do this. It's the reason we're bringing these videos to you guys, and we love doing it, and we hope you love watching it, you love reading it. And until next time, leave us a comment below. Tell us what game you want to see next, and we will see you later.